Hi, Dave here, and we're going to continue the study with me session that I did last time, and I think I kind of stopped here. Shit. With the sword, and we're going to try and finish this. I did start off the study with this. It's a bit of it's not super clean, but it's definitely a bit more defined, and I actually did decide to not try to do it in this kind of level, because I'm trying to get the forms. I want to know how to paint sci-fi stuff like mechs, and I'm kind of trying to study in the first place the forms, the shapes of this thing, right? So I don't think it's a good time to practice my rendering. I mean, it was a good study, but I feel like I should be more focused. Let me just adjust my mic here. Okay. And yeah. So we're going to use simple brushes again. We're going to avoid the artsy types of brushes. And yeah. And maybe after this study, I'm going to try and do a full figure, copying this the best way I can, and with color. Yeah. So maybe I should actually move this here. I'll move this guy here closer, and then move these two to the side, right? Makes more sense. Okay. I'll use this kind of painting airbrush. It's essentially a thick airbrush, and fuck. And yeah, I'm just trying to practice the way this thing looks. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just need to get used to painting the forms in the first place, so I can bring it in my own work. So there's this kind of dark thing here, right? It's kind of like a design thing. There you go. So the values here are pretty clear. Even if the kind of segmentation, that cut line it's not so prominent, but because of the way the value is kind of clear, like this value is different from this value, and this value is different from both of these values. It looks 3D. It looks 3D, right? So, yeah. So how do I draw this part right here? I'm going to limit this session to maybe 30 minutes at the very least, and at most I'll try to go for an hour, because as much as I want to practice it just in grayscale, I think it helps to do colored stuff as well. Yeah, I'll use a harder edged brush here, right? Sorry about the mic thing. I can't move the table too much because you'll be able to hear the yeah. Christ. Yeah. Oh, this side, you can actually see this side, right? And it doesn't have to be perfect. Again, I'm trying to get used to painting different sci-fi forms, so I can apply them to my own mech designs, right? For example, here I can kind of study the fact or the idea of a curved kind of thing, a cylindrical thing, how it can blend with another kind of object, right? Like so. Let's use a softer brush again. You need to be able to learn how to just illustrate something. Not to a super fine level, but you need to know enough that if you kind of illustrate it, it looks kind of convincing, you know? So, yeah. There you go. Oh shit. Whoa. Awesome. Try me, mother. Try me. It's not too white, it's actually more grayish, right? It's horrible. Fuck. Oh my god, it's not working. It's not working. It's actually kind of hard to do this because sometimes you're kind of lost in copying everything. You're kind of lost in the idea of copying it instead of actually studying it, right? And so a lot of self-awareness is involved here. So don't get too lost in the details, right? The reason why I'm using this kind of softer brush is because it's not too harsh, and like obviously a harder edged brush. I could use like a mixer brush from time to time, but you know, I want the bulk of it to be done with just a paint over a direct kind of painting, right? So multiple planes, I guess, when it comes to sci-fi, right? It's not just one flat thing. It has this, right? So I can apply that to my own mech designs. And I like this kind of style, the Evangelion and FRANXX style, because the forms are so simple. Most of the mechanical parts are kind of hidden, and that's kind of a cool thing. Maybe it's because it's just easier to animate, right? But stylistically, it looks pretty cool. I'm going to use a harder edge brush now, just because yeah. And try just painting in one layer. Try to get used to just painting over your mistakes, and it's super fun anyway to be able to paint that way. And I think it really helps when you're trying to do like fast concepts, just because you'll be able to pump out a lot of things. Because if you have like a very complicated kind of ideation process, you're not going to be very efficient, right? You want to be able to do things quickly and as efficiently as possible, especially if you're kind of if you don't want to waste too much time. Now, if you're the type of guy that likes to kind of get into the zone and you're kind of very artsy in a philosophical sense, maybe it's going to affect the way, maybe being super fast and productive or efficient is actually going to be a detriment rather than a helpful thing, a helpful kind of strategy. So yeah, just be careful. and see what works for you. Although for me, I feel like I can be a bit more productive if I, like sketch directly or paint directly. And again, when doing mechs, it's you almost always, or any kind of sci-fi stuff, it's almost always a mix between like solid planes and like lines, right? Segmentation. I just call it segmentation, where you can see like cuts and shit. Yeah. And when you're doing like designs like this, like mechanical stuff, you can work on the patterns later on. Maybe you can use a blending mode, a new layer in the blending mode, or a brush with a lower opacity. I think you want to be able to phase out your painting process and focus on the essentials first. So for me, the essentials would probably be like the forms and the planes of the thing before I can actually work on, say, the patterns and design or colors, right? And maybe that's why it's really useful to paint in grayscale. You know what I mean? And I'm very interested in learning how to get better at that thing, because first of all, it's faster to paint in grayscale because you're not considering color, you're just thinking of the values. And if you kind of, because there's a way to kind of color grayscale paintings, and there's so many tutorials out there in YouTube showing this technique, and it's really a nice way to kind of phase out your process. So you can kind of think of a certain thing just one at a time, and it's less pressuring, of course. It makes your workflow easier because you're not doing everything at once. I mean, there is an advantage, I guess, to working at once. Let's say you're doing some kind of speed painting. If you're used to kind of being direct, it's going to be helpful. You're going to have an easier time. But if you're not like super, like if you don't have like a deadline right in front of you, I think it's okay to spend time just phasing your thing out and working on your project, just layer by layer, face by face. Yeah, I've seen James Pack do a lot of like grayscale paintings. He does focus more on environments, but I've seen him do pretty decent grayscale paintings, and the moment he adds color, it just looks extra awesome, you know? Let me define. I really want to work on this thing right here. And this thing, I need to fix this connection. So this one is in a different plane, right? Am I right? Uh-huh. So we are at 13 minutes. I can stop at the not sure what mark, but it doesn't have to be completely accurate, although I'm just trying to because I obviously want it to look similar in some way, right? I can do like the application stuff later on. So this is kind of an observational study with some awareness of the breakdowns, like how you can kind of apply it to your future work, to my future work, you know? I am kind of thinking about that as well. So it stops here actually, right? Wow, I can actually hear my stomach kind of grumbling. Oh, I'm hungry. But I'm not starving. And I think you should know the difference, because yeah, because I'm the type of guy that can easily gain weight, and it doesn't help that I like rice. I eat so much carbs, so much so that it's not even necessary to eat the amount of rice that I eat or the amount of carbs that I eat. And the bulk of my carbs are from, you know what, that's not true. I do eat a lot of rice, but I also eat a lot of like noodles. So it's just a recipe for disaster for me. So yes. Oni-chan. Arigataimasu, sensei. Bitch. Ooh. Ooh. Let me make this. Oh, this one is not kind of, it's not, it's protruding out. This part right here, it's not going down, it's going up. Okay, so the dark part should be on the outside, right? If I may, get a darker kind of value here. And do, oh shit. Shits. Right? Maybe make the line slightly thinner, bro. And do this kind of thing, right? So it's on top of the planes, not kind of embedded below or kind of within it, right? And it has to go with the perspective, so I can do this. It goes kind of up, like it's not a clean silhouette because this one is obviously, this part right here is on top slightly. There you go. Look at that. Genius. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but look at how I'm studying shit right now. Like you can't even fucking imagine, bro. Oh, it's different. Oh. Oh, you can't see the this side, right? You can technically see the bottom part here, right? So why does it do that? It's more curvy here, and then it has a nice cut like this. I can do the same thing here. And it's actually hard to tell which one is in front. Excuse me. Shit, I'm kind of hungry. Fuck. Why am I hungry? I mean, I ate. Or maybe I'm just procrastinating. I don't think so. I think I'm genuinely hungry. Am I hungry? Hungry? You know what? I'm going to eat after I finish this study with me episode. Is this thing in front? I can't tell if it's protruding. Fuck. It's hard to say. Whoa. It's just a prank, bro. Bro, it's just a prank. I didn't mean it, bro. There you go. Am I right? Or am I right? Jesus, look at me. So I do think it's a nice thing to kind of separate your painting sessions and know exactly what you're trying to work on. Right now, I'm doing studies. Just trying to get used to painting sci-fi-ish subjects. And again, I'm not. Oh shit! I'm doing this thing. I'm doing the thing again. I'm trying to be like this right now. I'm trying to render it so much, and I feel like I should be more like this. Just kind of random and more direct, more big picture, right? I can always work on the rendering and refinement later and develop that skill later on instead of now. So yeah, I'm again you have to be self-aware and know exactly what you want to work on, right? Am I right? Or am I right? And lighter value here to really make that thing more 3D-ish. Ani-chan. I actually took a nap like right after I did the art review and the tutorial. It's not exactly a nap, but I just kind of laid down for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And maybe I had like a mini nap, but yeah. I was just exhausted. Maybe it's because my sleeping schedule is kind of off. Um, it's cool, but it is kind of annoying. So you know what? I think I'll stop here and for this sword study, and I'm going to do the color study soon. We'll try using the mixer brush here. It's not necessary, but again, you have to be careful because sci-fi involves like a lot of hard shapes. Even in this rendering, it's pretty hard. So you want to be very sparing with using the you want to use the mixer brush tool sparingly and not overdo things. Shit. I feel like my neck is being strained to look down. Okay. That's not too bad. I'll turn this off. I'll lock this. Maybe just move it to the side just a bit, just a tad bit. There you go. Move this in front just a bit. Let me erase this part right here. Oh shit. Hit 0 for 100% opacity. Lock it again. Bring this guy here, or select this guy. Control T. Move it around here. Oh, you know what? I'll put this guy on top. There you go. There you go. Oppa Gangnam Style. Shit. Let me lock that again. So we're done. Ish. I'm going to extend the canvas just a bit so I can see the reference while I do the colored study, right? Let me extend the background as well. Move the reference to the side. Make her bigger. Am I right? Or am I right? Extend it even more. I feel like there isn't enough space. Extend the background again. Move the reference further to the side. There you go. You know what? Just a bit more, just to be safe. Okay. Background, extend. Reference, move. There you go. Bam. Hi. I'm back. I actually slept for about 2 hours, I think. I'm just guessing here, but it's not exactly a full night, you know, or a full like 8 hours, but it's more of like a nap for me. And yeah, so we're going to try and study this FRANXX from this view, and we're going to try and simplify the forms, right? Or I want to be able to study the forms and not focus too much into the details and shit. I want to get good at kind of making something look sci-fi-ish, right? So we'll start with I'm going to actually color pick from the photo. I don't mind. Right. So I'm using my awesome gradient brush here. And I'm actually treating this more like maybe I can make a tutorial on this thing where I focus on starting with a soft brush. You're kind of replicating the way watercolor works, where you start off with something soft like a wash, and you kind of just refine things and define the edges as you kind of go along, right? This helps you kind of see more of the gesture of the piece. I feel like I need to extend the canvas just a bit more, like this, right? It actually helps you see the bigger picture. So if you kind of zoom out, you can kind of get the sense of it. And by the way, you can get this gradient brush pack, or this gradient brush, this flat, soft brush, in the Essentials brush pack. It's for free. I do want to update it because I actually duplicated it. Like, one is kind of set in the horizontal mode and one is in the vertical mode, and I don't think that's necessary. I feel like I could add another brush instead and replace both of them with one that's kind of in pen tilt. Now hopefully your pen has a pen tilt option. And maybe, I think I mentioned this before, but the XP Pen Pro, my 13.3 XP Pen Pro, the pen tilt isn't as accurate as my Intuos Pro that I've used for like years. It's a simple graphic tablet. I think it's a small one. But whenever I would use the pen tool, it will always be kind of accurate, and it wouldn't kind of jump. For the XP Pen Pro, it does jump a bit. So if you want to be super precise, you'll have to kind of I mean, it works, but again, there's this kind of thing here, right? It doesn't have to be perfect, but you're kind of just putting in the main stuff, the main kind of shapes. And maybe that's actually what I should focus on this year. Thinking about things as shapes. Just because it's easier and right? Look at that. It's a quick way to kind of just jot down the palette that you want, or the main forms and shit. Really, really cool. And you can go big, you can go small. I do want to suggest and show off the thingies here, the kind of hair of the mech. It does have hair. And again, I can always focus on. So right now it's actually more of a painting study, but I feel like I can understand a bit of the form, or by doing a painting study, maybe I can understand how something looks sci-fi. And now I could do like a breakdown and shit where I focus on one part, but I feel like I should also do like a painting, and use some of the colors from the palette, because by trying to replicate the photo, you are technically breaking down the thing to a way that's simple for you. So I guess that kind of helps with the whole studying thing, right? Right. It doesn't have to be super there, but I mean, a bit of likeness is not bad, but yeah. There's a big gap here on top of the head. And try to keep the brush as big as possible in the beginning, so you're kind of forcing yourself to see the big shapes and jot down the big shapes first, and you can always kind of refine things later on. I've never actually used this brush with colors, so seeing it right now, it's not too bad, right? So I do suggest try it out, or you just make a. I'm going to assume you have your own soft brush, or if you have like a default Photoshop soft brush, and just flatten that thing and make that into a brush. And you can make the thickness be in the thickness that you want, right? So, and I've also said this before, as much as I like selling my brushes because it makes me money, I still recommend people to make their own, because the brushes you find online won't always be 100% for you. And even if you have to buy something, you'll have to adjust it anyway, I think, to fit your needs and shit. So I think it's important to learn how to make your own brush and know how to play with the settings, right? It's kind of like how you want to be able to make your own tools, right? Think of yourself as a kind of knight, and you're also the blacksmith at the same time, right? Right? Whoa, that's too weird. So it's more like a lance, this thing here. The one knights use when they're kind of, what's the word for it? Where they kind of compete with another knight with a horse, and they have like a lance, and they're kind of charging towards each other, I think. Look at that. You know what, maybe I also won't be able to understand forms, because maybe I'm enjoying the painting too much. And it doesn't help if you're kind of the impressionistic type like me, where you just want to be able to jot down the gesture of it, or like the impression of the thing. And being very defined is kind of your weak point more often than not. It kind of takes time for you to really get into things. Am I right? Am I right? Yeah. So mechs are usually kind of chunky, I guess. Very, very chunky. So you know what? I think we'll try spending a few more minutes with this awesome brush. And then we can go in with this painting brush, this painting airbrush, and then maybe some harder edged brushes to be more defined. Or to be more cut, right? There you go. This one's a bit red. Brown, gray, red, right? I actually am excited to start this, or to continue this journey, because I believe I talked about this in the last episode slightly. I used to think that concept art was the thing, you know, working for films. For me, I really wanted to work on films, and I actually had this dream of being able to see my name in the ending credits, you know. I think that would be cool, and that was kind of what I wanted to do back then, or a few years ago, or maybe a year ago or something, or maybe 2 years ago. But spending time just doing art, I feel like the best route for me is to go independent, or even more independent. Not just freelance, but actually have my own story to tell. You know, like I want to be my own thing. And I don't need a big audience. I just need because obviously my stuff won't appeal to everyone, and that's okay. I just need to find the ones that have similar tastes as I do, and maybe we can kind of just be a fam that way, you know, be friends in that regard. For example, I do like impressionistic stuff, so yeah, I feel like I can relate to people that are a bit more sketchy. And that's kind of cool. I also like, you know, like anime, especially Evangelion, or Darling in the Franxx, primarily, and then Evangelion. Although I did watch Evangelion first. Amazing show. Both of them, but obviously because of 02 and the and every most the entire gang in the Darling in the FRANXX was awesome. And even like the stories, the lessons, yeah. Maybe there were lessons in the Evangelion because I think I only really watched the remake, and not exactly the like the episodes, like the series, the show, the anime show. I watched the movie instead. So I think I'm going in with some smaller lines here. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if I can suggest like this sort of thing, right? Or you could always start with a sketch in the beginning and then do an underpainting, and you can do that sort of thing, but it was actually a kind of a simple way, because your initial sketch, your initial line sketch doesn't have to be so complicated. It could be like more of a gesture, like a simple shape heavy kind of sketch. Think of the work of Ahmed Alduri. His sketching style or his approach is something that I think that I kind of understand, because he's not very refined in terms of his, like, he's not a highly rendering type of person. He likes to focus on he's an impressionistic kind of guy, you know. He actually likes to show a lot of his like initial sketches or initial line sketches, and he does like his work ends up looking like a mixed media kind of thing, which I do like, and I do lean towards that sort of thing. Yeah. I also feel like let me just adjust the mic here. I also feel like fuck. What I was going to say something. Fuck. I believe I mentioned this again in the previous episode, but the Art With Me series don't all have to be like 1 hour. That could be like the average time I spent doing like an Art With Me kind of episode, but it's not a rule, you know. It could be like an average, like a simple kind of guide, but I think some types of episodes should take more priority than others. For example, for the design with me, I feel like 1 hour is not enough. Because in the last episode of the design with me series, I focused more on ideation and not iteration. I was just trying to generate concepts and put down my initial thoughts. And doing ideation and maybe even iteration, where I kind of focus on one idea and I kind of iterate it in many ways. I feel like 1 hour is not enough. Cause yeah. But again, I won't know if I'm doing the right thing. I have to actually do more episodes and just get the feedback and just find a pattern and see if I'm actually getting better, or if the amount of time I spend doing those episodes are sufficient. I can always kind of reflect on that later on, right? As I do more work. For the speed painting, 1 hour is actually okay. That's like a standard speed painting kind of time. But 30-minute paintings are also pretty cool. and obviously it takes less time. And if I'm recalling the last speed painting video correctly, I felt like I could have stopped at the 30-minute mark. Like, it was kind of enough for me. But then again, if I stopped at that kind of time stamp or timeline, I wouldn't have time to kind of refine things just a bit. Because even though it's a speed painting, I do want it to be kind of refined in a way, at least in some parts, you know, to make it at least pretty. But yeah, I'm going to have to do more and see if it works. So if you kind of zoom out, you can actually get a sense of it, right? Kind of. Do like this thing here. Whoa. Yeah. So the face is somewhere here, right? And it really does help to see the shapes. And then I remember doing a lot of these in high school. Oh shit, not in high school, but in college. And I would do this. I wouldn't paint. I would do this in my sketchbook, notebook. And I would learn how, I learned then how to kind of, I learned a lot of like observational tricks. And for me, if you can draw someone with a photo and it comes out kind of, you know, like solid and kind of pretty, I think you're ready to start doing your own thing. Because I feel like there should be like well, I'm not saying it should be like a rule, but I feel like there's a nice transition of skills if you start off with observational stuff and then start working on imagination. Because once you're good with the observational studies and paintings, you've essentially proven to yourself that all you need is like one reference or something, some kind of simple guide, and then you can essentially paint everything else. And it's a very important skill that you actually have to use when you're doing more imaginative things. Hopefully I'm explaining that kind of right, although I feel like it's not a good full explanation of things. I do want the shadow to be more prominent in this back, right? Show off that neck here. And I feel like the figure should really show. I do like how the shoulders are so big, and the forearms and the head. Or well, not the head. The helmet is big. And like the body is petite. The torso, but the legs are kind of, they're thicker. She's thick, so that's kind of that's always a good thing. Oh, by the way, I do recommend this animator. His name is, he posts his work on on Twitter. His username is Teleporte. And I love seeing his animations. And earlier today, I was actually kind of feeling, well, not down, but I was kind of feeling meh, but not in a good way. Because sometimes meh, that kind of feeling of meh, is good because you're kind of not exactly super excited, but you're not like super like depressed. You're just kind of there, and sometimes you can get like a lot of decent work when you're kind of in the meh stage because you're just productive, I guess. But sometimes being in the meh kind of zone, you can feel a bit down sometimes, and thankfully I was able to stumble upon his video or an animation of his You'll see a lot of his videos on YouTube as reposts and shit. But again, he doesn't exactly have a YouTube channel. He posts his work mainly on Twitter. The stuff you see on YouTube are just his are reposts of his Twitter animations. And when I saw his one of his animations, I was actually kind of inspired to work on my own thing. Now, obviously, he's an animator and I'm not, but just seeing another creative person really pursue their thing makes me wanna pursue my own thing. So there's this nice transfer of energy that happens, right? So focus on the silhouette or focus on shapes, right? So the hand is somewhere here. Nice butt. Am I right? Bring some yellows here. The knees are rather thin. So we're at 46 minutes now. Not too bad. I did start this episode working on this thingy. Not bad. Although I felt like I could have developed this more. I think I'll finish the episode by just finishing this colored painting study of FRANXX. It's what you call the machine, this kind of mech in the Darling in the Franxx anime series. And the Avas are what you call the mechs in the Evangelion series. I really want to show her off or show her petiteness here. Are those nipples? Oh, classy. They're not nipples. It's a nice design though. It kind of stops in the nipple area, so that's always a good thing. I always find it tasteful when people kind of draw lewd stuff, but they kind of play with it a bit. Because if you just draw like a tit with like a nipple, I mean it's okay. But if you kind of play with like straps or bondage, I don't know, it feels kind of nice. Anyway, and I feel like I can relate to anime a little more because of the content. There's a lot of like pervy stuff in anime, and I don't know, it feels more relatable, right? I do know there are people out there that aren't really comfortable with being a pervert. Well, I mean, it's by pervert I mean the good kind, you know, where you're kind of dirty in a way, like you have like sick thoughts and you share them in public, but in a very friendly kind of way. So yeah, I do know this thing is kind of on top, right? Remember this? It was on top. It's not embedded under, so we can kind of play with that concept. Oh shit, I'm zoomed in. Oh my god. Oni-chan senpai. And I feel like there are stages or shifts in mood or kind of energy. Sometimes if I spend too long like watching say anime, I'll eventually lose interest and there will be this kind of need for me to create something. Like eventually it will happen. I'm sure you've felt the same way where you where there is a phase where you start just consuming a lot of things, consuming all sorts of media, and then at a certain point you're kind of craving creation. You want to be able to paint something, draw something, sketch something, write something, play something, music wise, and that creative kind of urge is just trying to find a way out, and it wants to be kind of expressed. And yeah, and right now I'm feeling that I'm kind of over anime right now for now, so I'm not really like needing or demanding or craving to watch anime. But yes. Let me just draw the shape here. It goes like this. If it's too complicated, break it down to a shape. Am I right or am I right? And then add the lines, right? Oh shit, bro. Just a prank, bro. Just a prank, bro. Fuck. It's thinner here where it connects. Connects. Oh, you can see a bit of the forearm in the back of the this kind of lens thing, right? Oh shit. So hopefully again you're painting along with me or something, and just, you know, I hope you don't feel alone when you're working. Now I do recommend when you're designing something. I think these types of episodes are great when you're doing like a paint with me type of thing, or when you're doing like a random kind of sketchbook thing, where you're just kind of doodling. But when you're working, I do recommend just having like a background mix of music playing. Just search on YouTube for the music that you like. I do recommend music that doesn't have what's the word? Lyrics in it, because I feel like it's going to distract you, you know? Let me just pull the background further to the side just to be safe. Excuse me. Hit V and move this bad boy just about there, because I do want to make extend the edge. Yeah, just a bit. Oppa Gangnam Style. I do need to fix this, and I feel like this leg is a bit too straight, you know. I need to do this. Just boom, strong cut. It's kind of squished, this sketch. I'm going to cheat by doing this. I'm going to squish it just a bit, right? And extend it. Oh, I don't know, maybe I'll hit M, right? And I'm going to do this. I'm going to hit Control T and then maybe warp. And this is what's so cool about Photoshop, is you can do this sort of thing, right? It's such an awesome way to now again, I'm only really doing that because I want it to be kind of similar to the main sketch. I feel like the shoulders are this entire thing is kind of too big. Ooh, too big, right? Control Shift C to copy everything within that selection, and then I'll hit Control V. Right, so now we have like a pasted version of it here. Control T to transform it, and I just want to make it meet it here, right? It's about the right size. I am holding Shift as I do this to kind of scale it proportionally, right? I'm going to hit B and I'm going to start painting over that, right? And again, don't be afraid to do this sort of thing. You're not bound by some kind of eternal law to maintain your original kind of sketch. You can adjust as you go, right? Oh, there's a cable here for the forearm. Oh no, it's for the lens. It goes like this. Okay, I get it. Okay, sorry. There you go. Oof, look at that. That's so sexy. Am I right? Or am I right? Am I right? Am I right or am I right? So this is more of a thing here. Man, that's a pretty good sketch. Oh, the head is too low. Low. Maybe I'll hit Control T and just pull it up. Oh shit. Oh, let me just fix things first here and just my senpai. Oni-chan. Anita. Right? Suggest like just the edge, and I think that's kind of enough, and really show that chin there, showing off her very slender neck, or the mech slender neck. I do like the hologram kind of, not hologram, but the display kind of thing with the face. And it did kind of put me off in the beginning, seeing that face, but it's a great way to add expressions, and so technically it's actually just more like a helmet kind of screen, but it does provide like a face. It displays a face when you're kind of connected to it, I guess, which is really, really cool. Am I right? There you go. Look at that bad boy. She's bad. Oh shit. Hopefully, like I'm so excited to seeing my channel list of videos maybe by the end of the month, because hopefully I can kind of keep up with my own schedule here, and I want to see how I can manage this kind of intensity with my video production and art production, because I'm also working on my own projects, right? Or my own project, this one project that I'm working on. I want to see how far or how good I can kind of keep up with my intended kind of designed sked. Am I right? Or am I right? 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 I need to do this. Nice cut here. And I do advise you to, if you're not very good at doing observational stuff, try to think of negative and positive shapes. There are so many tutorials of it out there, but that's one of the things that has helped me kind of be more accurate when painting stuff with reference. Because sometimes I focus on the subject, right? But sometimes I focus on the background. And I'm trying to see the shape here in this black area. And if I can kind of make it at least look similar, I'm essentially amazing, right? So it actually goes like this, and then like this. And there's actually a lighter part here. Am I a genius or duh? Duh, no shit. No shit, bro. You're a fucking pro, bro. Bro. Yeah, so hopefully by the end of the month I can what's the word? Hopefully by the end of the month I can have a decent amount of work when it comes to my personal project. I want speed paintings, I want design sketches, I want maybe some illustrations. Although it should not be the priority, because obviously I think the design sketches are the biggest thing. The studies do complement the design, but there should be a lean, more design than studies, and maybe that's why I do want it to be longer, like the episodes slightly longer, so I can like focus more on like ideation and iteration of ideas. For the studies, I also feel like I shouldn't record this. I should not record this because it's just not as direct. But I do feel like I should spend time finding, researching, like the right references, and shit, and really work on developing like a look for things, and because you need like a nice reference board to kind of guide your design, right? So that's always a good thing. Am I right? Or am I right? Oh shit, like this. It's actually more of a triangle, right? I haven't actually defined the face, so it should be kind of higher. It kind of has an angry kind of look. Like the brow area is kind of like more tilted up. And the face is actually gray with a bit of orange and red on the other side because it's oh shit, the light. Look at this. Let me just explain this. Light comes here, right? We'll try this color. Light comes here and it bounces off from the lens onto the face. Whoa. Observation. Pretty cool. And that's why it's kind of orange on the face and the head, right? Oh, I need to define the edge of here of like the helmet. It kind of goes like this. Like this, like this. There you go. Although this unicorn horn thingy is a bit too low, so I'm going to have to make some changes with it, right? And as much as I want to finish this study and really make it like have like better likeness and shit, I think I should stop, right? Because I want to focus more on the design. I think these studies are great, doing these breakdowns, just trying to understand certain forms, and also doing like painted studies. I mean, look at that, so impressionistic, am I right? And it kind of gives you a sense of how to paint mechs. Just by painting other people's mechs, you're kind of getting some of that gesture in, or kind of forms in, just by doing it, right? And it's going to, I think, help you. Or help me, right? Damn, this brush is so versatile. Maybe you should check it out. It's free. Well, not totally free because you have to like submit your email and shit. If you don't see like a certain brush, just wait for the end of the month because I do batch my updates. I try to work on the brushes on the side, and then at the end of the month, usually either before the end or at the first few days of a month, that's where I do like my batch updates. I do recommend you if you do have a brush pack of mine, download it immediately because maybe I often replace it. Like I don't do versions and shit because I did that before, but it was so hard to or it's just too cumbersome for me to manage, and I just want to be more direct. So just download the brush and make sure you have the copy that you bought, and yeah, check in once in a while with the brush that you bought or downloaded for free, right? And yeah. I want this bit of dark here and just bring it on top. Maybe darker. Maybe a black. Oof. Too strong. Am I right? To really show off that contrast. Oof. It makes the lens even more powerful. It's so hot. Oof. Fuck. I'll be a pro in no time. Like you have no fucking idea. I will succeed. I do feel like whenever you're doing something like art related or anything in life, you need to be a bit ballsy and a bit of a dick, I guess. You need to have a certain kind of like a fuck you kind of attitude. Like, you know what? Fuck you, man. Fuck you. And you need to develop balls. Develop them tits. Don't avoid being a bitch. Go for the thing you want. And claim what's yours. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my god. I'm amazing. I'm literally, oh my goodness. There you go. Oh, this one's actually gray. And then this part is, why is it, this thing is kind of weird. It's almost like it doesn't really have a function, it just looks cool. But I like it. Right? Oh, you can't really see the eye on the other side, and it's actually a bit dark. It does have a bit of contrast. Makes sense. Let me just flip the canvas again. Oh shit, we're at 1 hour and 5 minutes. Let me just develop the face just ever so slightly. Am I saying that right? Fuck me. Oni-chan. It does droop down, so we'll have to fix this edge. And do this sort of thing. And it's too far off. We can do this. Get some yellows and do this. Or almost like a white. Make the brush even smaller and do this. To really show off the edge of that head. And maybe we can adjust this thing here. There you go. Maybe yellow is more appropriate. Let me... Oh yeah, yellow is more appropriate. There you go. Excuse me. Maybe I'll spend like 4 minutes, an extra 4 minutes with this piece. I don't want the eye to show. Oh shit! I want the maybe not the eye, but the. So it goes like this, right? So nice chest, perky, edge. Oh, she has. This mech looks hot. Yeah, I want to work on this part a bit. Just add a bit more detail. It's not going to be super like high quality, but a bit of variety, diversity. Whoa, inclusive design. I actually haven't been listening to a lot of news, like before, because it's actually kind of a good thing. It's not always a good thing to be. I do think it's important to be updated, with things. But I feel like since I've found my focus in terms of my art, I've been less inclined to find out what's wrong with the world. Because I do know there is shit happening right now. Just more government overreach, and I think most people can actually see it. It's kind of totalitarian, authoritarian, dystopian kind of world that's happening. And some say that's why the 1984 book is one of the best-selling books of this time, just because it's so obvious. And it's disheartening sometimes, but if you don't know what to do, as a rule of thumb, maybe when in doubt, just work on your thing. Whatever your thing is, work on your thing. Find success or create that success. Because you can't really control. You can't. All you can do is like influence the world, right? You can't. It's not a direct kind of influence. It's actually more indirect. And you want to be able to focus more on your circle of control, right? Classic advice from the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Focus on your circle of influence or control. Because there are things you can control and there are things you can't. And most of the unhappiness that you kind of experience is usually when you focus too much on the things you can't control and not work on the things you can actually control. So, yeah. So yeah, work on your project, work on your portfolio, work on your thing, whatever that thing is. Work primarily on yourself. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job, right? And I really hope that this year is your year, despite the chaos and the constant need to be able to control every single living thing in this fucking planet. And it's so cool because in the FRANXX, well, hopefully you have watched it by now. If you haven't, just stop the video, move on to the next one or something. There's it talks about like a similar thing, a group that wants to control like life. Oh shit, I'm painting on top. I should do this. And it's just, yeah, it talks about a similar kind of group that wants to control every single thing. And it even kind of shows how in that kind of time, or eventually there will be a time where pregnancy isn't really a thing anymore, because everything you're kind of past that, and it's so dystopian, right? And we know this as artists, well, some of us at least, right? Because there are others that are so, like, I didn't expect them to be so like, because you know how in whether it be comics, anime, any kind of animated show or any kind of book, there's always this common enemy that creatives have, the controllers, you know, this kind of mob thing, or this kind of thing that wants to control every aspect of your life. And it's usually kind of a dystopian kind of class or ruling class, and they essentially want to they're trying to fight humanity, you know, like what it means to be human. And it's happening right now, by the way, and people can actually thankfully see it, but some still can't. They still feel like they're doing everything for safety. Even right now, they're trying to push things with Iran again, with the whole nuke thing. I mean, another lie, bro, come on. And I feel like because of the media, of course, its reach, and because media isn't a separate thing from the state, you know, it's usually part of like the government, right? Especially here in the US. And it's so sad that, because people can tend to forget their principles when they're put in a position of fear. If you put someone in a position where they have to decide between A or B, like just two choices, they're usually going to react very, very, wait, maybe I'm not saying that right. If you get someone afraid enough, you will be able to make them choose between A or B. Because there's more than just an A and B, right? But if you get the fear up, it creates this kind of either or mentality, you know? If you make people so afraid of that other kind of nation in the Middle East, it's either, usually I've heard this thing where people say that it's either we attack them or they attack us, and it's so bitch-like, you know, like it's so black and white. But again, it's because of the fear, and the media does play a role in that, the mainstream media at least, right? So yeah, there is this kind of common enemy that we have, this dystopian entity, and there's always kind of levels. In the Darling and the Franks, there is a level to like the the thing, right? And it's such a common thing. It's almost like it's a stereotype, but stereotypes are based on reality, right? Even the hero's journey is such a common development because it's so integral to our humanity, right? We all experience some kind of hero's journey in our lives, right? And it's just so interesting because if you're like a movie lover, if you like watching movies, you'll see the same kind of enemy sometimes, right? This kind of dystopian thingy that wants to control every single thing, right? Sometimes it will be in fantasy form, sometimes in sci-fi form. It doesn't really matter because the idea is what's real, you know. There are others out there that don't like people to be free. You know, they want control, and you have to be able to see it. You know, the idea of being in a movie does not mean it's fake. You know, and yeah. So if you're kind of an artist, hopefully you can see what I see. It reminds me of that scene in the V for Vendetta film. That's another film that's so. And the film was kind of set in 2021, so it's like, oh shit. And in the film, They were talking about biological weapons. And there was this speech by the guy, the V guy, and it was so integral, I think, to the film, and really makes you think. He promised you order, he promised you peace, and all he asked in return was your silent and obedient consent. I think that's how he said it, and it really shows today's society, right? Just obey, just do it, man, for the greater good, bro. And again, if you get a person afraid enough, they won't be able to see past like 2 steps, you know. It's this and it does work because it plays with the fight or flight response. This kind of natural tendency to be, or it's actually, I believe there are 3 options that you could either fight, flight meaning run, or freeze. There is a kind of third option where you're just kind of stunned, and it does happen. But the point is, you can make where that's used against us a lot of the time, you know. So if you're an artist, try to speak truths to power. Although I do suggest you work on your business first. Develop your money making thingy. Whether you want to go independent or be more of a freelancer or work in a company or a game studio, big film game studio, focus on yourself first, and everything else kind of just follows from that. That's my take, at least. I mean, I'm still not there. I still have a lot to learn, but I feel like I'm in the right direction, and hopefully you're kind of doing the same thing as I am. Well, not the same thing, but a similar thing. You're essentially pursuing your thing. You're trying to make it work. You're trying to make ends meet, and you're trying. And trying is always a good thing. And I really hope, like, maybe in a few years from now, I want to be able to reference people to this channel and show them how I did it, like how I developed my own business and shit, and how I became more independent. I want to be able to do that in the future, you know, so I can inspire others to do the same thing, so that they can kind of pursue their own thing. I want to be part of the group that shows people that there is another way, and not everything has to be decided by some kind of power, right? And I want to remind also people that, especially artists, that we're meant for something, you know? We're kind of in the league of we go along with the writers, right? Or with the musicians. Obviously, when it comes to like communicating ideas, the top medium would be words. So writing some lyrics, because it's just easier to kind of comprehend things when it's in word form sometimes. Complex ideas especially. But we're kind of part of that group where we go along with the writers, or what used to be journalists, you know, that actually were. Remember how journalists were kind of respected? Nowadays, it's just they usually just work for the state. I mean, there are still journalists out there, like decent ones, that obviously people have their slants, but if they're not, I always try to go for the call to action, and this is a trick you can kind of apply in your own life. Always try to find a call to action. I have a call to action. Sometimes I say, check out my Gumroad. Sometimes I say, work harder on yourself, then you do it on your job, then you do on your job. And that's kind of, always try to find that underlying message. And that can really show you what the person is about. And you want to be able to sift through the bullshit, because there are people that are really good with wording things, making it sound pretty. Inclusivity, we're fighting terrorism, you know, like this really because you're an artist, right? You should know how marketing works. Here in the States, you give one side, or just try to wrap an idea in the rainbow kind of fashion. Just put in some rainbow colors, and there will be a group of people that will easily be manipulated. there's also another group of people that if you just wrap a certain idea in red, white, and blue, they will do that idea or subscribe to that idea, even if it goes against their original principles, because they're so easily led by the marketing and they can't see it. They're going to be manipulated to do things they don't want to do. And this is why people always say to go back to your or to know what your principles are. Don't be led by propaganda, you know. And again, you are an artist. Though I can't help everyone, but I do know that I can reach artists, and I can make people submit, and you can make people submit by just drawing a chick, right? Because women sell more than men. It's a rule of law or a rule of life. No one likes guys. Well, that's not true, but there's a lean. Even girls like girls, right? And so you can do that kind of thing. So we know how our moods can change by just changing the marketing, right? So we have to be able to see this sort of shit, right? It reminds me of The Mandalorian. There was a scene where the Mandalorian was actually about to quit his deal, and then this frog lady wanted him to hold his end of the bargain, but he was kind of feeling down, I guess, because his ship was kind of destroyed, and he just wanted to quit, and just he was kind of done at that point. And then she kind of called him out, like essentially saying that I thought Mandalorians kind of kept their word, right? And then she kind of made this nice jab at him, saying that, oh, it's maybe it's just something you tell children, right? Or these are just stories maybe you tell children. And it kind of made Mando, you know, because sometimes we forget our own principles, and it does happen. But if you truly understand it, if you truly know what your principles are, all that would need to happen is someone else to call you out, and you will immediately change. You will immediately go back to your awesome self, right? So make sure you know what your principles are. Make sure you know what you stand for. And don't fall just because of some person. Don't fall for the cult of personality, right? Don't fall for the marketing. Know what your principles are. Right? And always remember that people can make you do something by making you want it, by making you need it. Like whenever someone says we must do this, where we need this, it's necessity is always I forgot the quote, but it's always the it's always how things get done when it comes to control. Just say that it needs to happen, and like there is no other way, and you will be able to achieve that kind of dystopian kind of law or thing or act. And that's usually how people fold, by making them want to be chained. And I'm actually, because right now obviously in terms of foreign policy, they're really going after Iran. I mean, for Syria it didn't really work. I mean, they're still obviously being bombed and shit, but they're still there, thankfully. Although I'm not sure how long that will last, and it's kind of sad actually, but yeah. So Iran, Syria, especially Iran, they're trying to push the whole Iran thing, and it's just so sad, you know, like people wanting war just because of the marketing. And sometimes I feel like if people just realize how they were being manipulated to you know, like, I mean, Jesus, they're human beings too, man. Now thankfully we're artists here. If you check out ArtStation, there are so many Iranian artists, and they're fucking awesome. So just it's just sad, and I do recommend you watch Darling the FRANXX, because it says so much. Although, like anything, if you don't have the context to if you don't have like background knowledge of things, you won't be able to see it, right? For example, there are so many films out there, even in Hollywood, that kind of show a bit of truth, but sometimes people can't see it because they don't look for it, you know. But they're out there. They really kind of speak truth to power. They're kind of hopeful. They give you hope. they make you think. But again, you have to be able to have context for you to actually be able to see it, right? So it goes behind the boob, not over the boob, if I may, right? Oh, it's a great way to help the boob pop out, right? Wow, that's really cool. So you're kind of showing off the silhouette. You could have left it kind of dark and let the dark background kind of take over, but oh shit, I think I was talking oh shit, I'm at 1 hour and 25 minutes. Jesus Christ. Okay. Oh yeah, I shouldn't have talked and rambled. Sometimes it happens, I'm sorry. I need to be able to control myself. Oh, maybe it's because I just woke up or something and I'm kind of energized, and I do have coffee with me right now, so I'm kind of on fire. Yes. Oh, some kind of, you know what? I'll spend 2 hours. Fuck it. You know what? I should have like an average, like a 1 hour type of thing. Like 1 hour episodes, but sometimes, fuck it. You know what? Fuck it, bro. A video is a video, and I think it helps people. Although the absolute max should absolutely be 2 hours. No more, because the rendering time is also a bitch. When I do the videos and shit. Okay. Or maybe I could stop at the 1:30 mark. Right? Because I have to like design stuff too. Oh shit. Oh my god. Oni-chan. So hopefully you've learned something from this episode. Oh, there's a nice highlight here of an orange thingy. Define its edge. Oof, oh shit, look at me. Look at that. You have no freaking clue. So there's a gray part here. It's kind of on top of the hip. It's like wings. They're like wings for the hips. Just suggest it. It doesn't have to be fully defined. Just give like the shape. Give the impression of it. And that's why impressionism is such a nice technique to have. It's just easier to explain or suggest things, yeah. Make the brush smaller. And does this. Holy shit, look at that. That's so cool, bro. And look at how far I am from the painting. You don't have to be super close to be able to paint. And I think the best example, or I do recommend checking out the work of FRANXX, and just see the way he paints. He doesn't do this thing. He paints from this kind of view. The same thing goes for, or the same goes for Anthony Jones. Like both of them have like a lot of videos, and they don't really zoom in as much. So that's always a cool thing, and it helps them see the bigger picture, right? And even for those pros, if you kind of zoom in on their work, you will be able to see their strokes, right? So it's not really those types of paintings. The way they paint, they're not meant to be seen at this view. They're meant to be seen at the bigger kind of picture view. So, damn, that knee change there, or that kind of thigh change, really makes her look feminine. Again, watch starting in the FRANXX now. You will be inspired to paint and shit. Am I right? Or I'm fucking up the hand here. Yeah, I want to be able to suggest the hand just a bit. It goes like this, and then there's this darker thing here, the shadow part. Oh shit. You don't even have to draw the fingers, right? So I am kind of defining the edge here. Oh, she has a nice belly. Man, this mech is so like full. Is full the word? Like very organic in the center, right? Shadow perhaps? I think it's a shadow here. Oh, some gold lighting here, some red perhaps to really show that thing off. Oh, there's this nice kind of purple gradient here and some yellow stuff in the bottom, right? And I do have the brush. The transfer is kind of both. Like the opacity and the flow is kind of set to the pen pressure, and both are 0%. So you won't always have to go here in the, or you won't always have to like hit a number to kind of change the opacity. You can just kind of adjust it with the, or adjust the opacity or strength of something with the pen pressure. It's a faster way of painting, and it's more delicate. Oh shit, there's something behind her as well. It's again, it's another way, this kind of hair thing is another way to help the silhouette pop out even more. Very awesome approach there. It does go dark here, some kind of shadow, right? Look at that bitch. Damn, bro. Damn. Oh, we're at 32 minutes. I think I'll stop here now. Maybe the eye should be a bit more developed. This is a great. I really enjoy this study, by the way. So you want to be able to balance your studies as well. You don't have to just do these, like very specific ones. You can also do like paintings and vice versa. I think this is actually a bit too common in the art world, where you kind of copy something as is. It does have its value, but I think it's good sometimes to just focus on some parts and study those things a bit more, or break things down. I was able to define a few things here. This part, the line here is a bit too thick. I should stop, but I can't stop. Let me just hit B and just do this, right? This, and there you go. I was supposed to stop, right? But why am I not stopping? Ani-chan. Right, I think that's good enough. Let's make the edge here just sharper. Ah, come on, Dave, stop. It's okay. Move on. I think that's good enough. Thank you for watching. Fuck, let me just move this to the side just a bit. I'll lock everything, but I'll move it here. V, and just move this guy over to this side. That is cool. And maybe you can bring the reference closer. Just like that. Hit C. Crop it here. And I always go the safe route. I have this deselected. Delete crop pixels. I always kind of leave it unchecked, just to be safe. Sometimes if the file gets too big, sometimes you will have so much around the main canvas that you'll have to delete that or delete something. So yeah. Thank you for watching. Keep painting and stay free.